It begins quietly. No wars, no revolutions, no dramatic moment broadcast across every screen. Instead, the change spreads gradually, city by city, country by country, until one day the statistics reveal something humanity has never seen before. Every nation on Earth now identifies as Christian. At first, the world struggles to understand what that truly means. For centuries, Christianity has been one of the largest religions on the planet. Its churches exist on every continent. Its stories have shaped cultures, laws, and philosophies across thousands of years. But it has never been universal. Until now, suddenly, there are no other religions practiced anywhere on Earth. No temples dedicated to other gods. No mosques calling believers to prayer. No synagogues preserving ancient traditions. Every society, every government, every community now defines itself within the framework of Christianity. At first, many people assume that such unity will immediately bring peace. After all, history has often blamed conflict on religious differences. Wars have been fought over belief for centuries. If everyone shares the same faith, perhaps humanity will finally overcome one of its oldest divisions. But reality proves more complicated, because Christianity itself has never been a single, simple structure. Within the faith exist hundreds of traditions, denominations, interpretations, and theological perspectives. Catholics, Orthodox Christians, Protestants, Evangelicals, Anglicans, Baptists, Lutherans, and countless other branches each carry their own history and understanding of Scripture. And when the entire world becomes Christian, those internal differences suddenly matter more than ever. Global debates begin almost immediately. Which traditions will guide international law? Whose interpretation of Scripture becomes the standard for moral authority? Some nations maintain long-established church structures tied closely to government. Others promote a more personal, decentralized form of faith. In some places, religion remains deeply integrated into daily life. In others, Christianity exists more culturally than spiritually. For the first time in history, these differences shape the entire planet. At the political level, leaders begin referencing biblical principles openly in international discussions. Concepts such as forgiveness, stewardship, charity, and justice appear more frequently in diplomatic language. Humanitarian efforts expand rapidly. Church organizations already represent some of the largest charitable networks in the world. Now, with global cooperation under a shared religious identity, relief efforts become more coordinated than ever before. Massive international programs focus on poverty reduction, disaster response, and healthcare. Some of the world's poorest regions see immediate benefits. Faith-based communities mobilize volunteers across borders. Hospitals funded by church alliances expand into remote areas. Educational missions reach villages that previously lacked schools. For many people, the new global Christian identity feels hopeful. Yet, the transformation also creates new tensions. Because when belief becomes universal, the question shifts from which religion to how should it be practiced. Theological discussions move from seminaries into political arenas. One country may emphasize strict adherence to traditional doctrines, shaping its laws around conservative interpretations of Scripture. Another nation may highlight themes of compassion and social justice, creating policies focused on welfare and equality. Both claim the same religious foundation, but their societies look very different. The world begins experiencing a new type of disagreement, not between religions, but between interpretations of the same faith. Scholars and religious leaders become influential voices in global dialogue. Conferences gather theologians from dozens of countries to debate ethical questions facing modern civilization. How should Christianity guide emerging technologies? What does stewardship of the earth truly mean in an era of climate crisis? How should ancient teachings be applied to modern economic systems? These conversations shape international policy in ways never seen before. At the cultural level, Christianity influences art, music, and storytelling more strongly than ever. Biblical imagery appears everywhere, in films, literature, architecture, and education. Christmas and Easter become truly global events celebrated by every society on Earth. But as the years pass, something unexpected begins to happen. Because belief shared by everyone gradually begins to feel different. In the past, faith often defined identity in contrast to others. Communities formed around shared beliefs partly because those beliefs distinguished them from surrounding cultures. Now that distinction is gone. When every neighbor, coworker, and government leader identifies as Christian, the meaning of faith shifts from group identity to personal conviction. Some people embrace this deeply. Church attendance increases in many regions. Spiritual practices become central to daily routines. Communities organize around worship, service, and study. But in other places, Christianity slowly becomes more cultural than spiritual. People still celebrate holidays. They still use biblical language in ceremonies. Yet for many, faith becomes tradition rather than transformation. This creates a quiet divide, not between believers and non-believers, but between those who treat Christianity as a living spiritual commitment and those who see it as cultural heritage. Theologians begin discussing what they call the era of universal faith. If everyone already belongs to the same religion, what does conversion even mean? Missionary movements, once focused on spreading Christianity across the world, now shift their purpose. Instead of introducing new believers to the faith, they focus on renewal, encouraging deeper understanding and spiritual growth among populations that already identify as Christian. Meanwhile, the disappearance of religious diversity has unexpected effects on philosophy and science. For centuries, different religious traditions offered alternative perspectives on morality, meaning, and human purpose. Now those conversations occur entirely within a single framework. Some thinkers worry that losing religious diversity may reduce intellectual contrast, one of the forces that historically pushed cultures to reflect more deeply about belief. Others argue the opposite. They believe that with humanity united under one spiritual foundation, energy once spent on conflict can now be directed toward cooperation. Global initiatives addressing poverty, environmental protection, and medical research gain unprecedented support. The idea of caring for the vulnerable, deeply rooted in Christian teaching, becomes a shared moral expectation across cultures. Yet human nature does not disappear simply because beliefs align. Political rivalries continue. Economic competition remains intense. Nations still disagree about borders, resources, and influence. What changes is the language used to justify these disagreements. Instead of invoking different gods or ideologies, leaders now interpret the same scriptures in different ways to defend their positions. A passage about justice may inspire calls for reform in one country while being used to defend tradition in another. The Bible, translated into thousands of languages and interpreted through countless cultural lenses, becomes the central text shaping global debate. Some observers begin to notice something profound. When the entire world shares the same faith, religion no longer separates humanity. Instead, it becomes a mirror reflecting humanity itself. Every culture reads the same teachings but expresses them differently. Some emphasize forgiveness. Others emphasize discipline. Some highlight compassion. Others highlight authority. Christianity remains universal, yet humanity's diversity still shapes how it lives. And slowly, a deeper question emerges. If everyone calls themselves Christian, what truly defines faith? Is it shared belief, shared values, or the choices individuals make when no one is watching? The world expected that universal religion might end conflict. Instead, it has begun a new chapter of human history, one where unity exists in belief, but diversity continues in interpretation. And as churches fill every city skyline and scripture echoes through every language on earth, humanity begins discovering something unexpected. Sharing the same faith may not answer all questions, but it may force the world to ask better ones.